immediately we finished the Rio Olympic Games, the preparation started. I can say we were on course all well until early 2020, when we were almost there in the Olympic Games. Then we had the challenges with COVID-19 when the event was postponed. Of course, the postponement of the event also meant that the qualification pathways for the athletes had to be cancelled, had to be postponed. Yeah. So it was really that difficult. When we started, we had a very high hopes that will increase the number of our athletes by 30%. That means from the Rio number of 21, we expected to have at least 33 athletes. That would have been our second highest since 1956 when we started to participate in the Olympic Games. But of course, with the COVID-19, all those things had to be cut down. And of course, it made things very difficult for us. One, to send athletes to qualify. Many qualifiers, as I said, were postponed. And we had these sports that required qualification by ranking, meaning that you have to be out there. To be out there means you have to abide by the SOPs. It also meant that you need to secure permission to go out, which was quite very difficult. And for that reason, our initial number of sports from the 12 that we had planned to have had to be reduced to 4. Finally, when we went only with the 4 sports.
Yeah. So, yeah, and yeah, we went with only 4 sports. There was a rower, Kathleen Noble. There were 3 boxers. There were 2 swimmers, and of course 19 from the Uganda Athletics Federation. Madame Beatrice, for me, I'll ask the simple ones. My colleague Ronnie Santos will come in with these technical questions a little later. What to an average Ugandan watching would love to know, what is the role of the CDM, Chef de Mission?
Chef de Mission is a word in French. I can say loosely translated in English. It means head of mission. So being head of mission, you are the planner, you are the mobilizer, you are the motivator of the athletes. Okay. So your role starts right from the preparation. You have to make sure that all the athletes follow the pathway for qualification. You have to prompt, you have to motivate the athletes that when they have qualified, it is your role to make sure that the athletes do their best, because there will be no other person there. You are the one, almost, I can say, you step in every, you have to make your footprint has to be everywhere. Yeah, so that is the role of a chef de mission. You are the one to address challenges. You are the one to ensure when there are liabilities, you are the one in charge of liabilities. The successes, you can be the others contribute, you also take the successes. Okay. So you work in front, behind, in the middle, everywhere. That's where you are. You are the chef de mission. You have to motivate, you have to push federation, you have to push athletes, you have to push officials, because you work with so many people. You interface, at times you step on other people's toes, you make some errors, you have to learn those errors. When an athlete has not performed very well, you have to make sure you are there to comfort the athlete, to feel comfortable. At times, when an athlete has missed a medal or an athlete has performed poorly, the officials tend to shy away. It's you. You have to put your head there and make sure that the athlete feels very comfortable. So the chef de mission does so many things. You have to interface with the all organization. For this case, we don't organize this event only as Uganda Olympic Committee. We have a local organizing committee, which was chaired by the Honorable Minister of State for Sports and Education and Sport, in charge of sports. Then you have the National Council of Sports comes in. You have partners, sponsors. You have to liaise with the international body, the Olympic Solidarity. We had athletes who are receiving grants. You have to make sure that they receive their grants in time. You have to be in charge of ANOCA. ANOCA also provides some support for some athletes who we had 3 athletes who were under the scholarship of ANOCA. We had 6 under the Olympic Solidarity. All of these, you have to make sure you coordinate them very well. You have to work with your team, because this chef de mission doesn't work alone. During the games, you have I had a team of 10 people, the team doctor, the media liaison person, the administrators, a chaperone, physiotherapist, then you have general team manager, and all of these, you're in charge of them to make sure everything works well. Then you have the technical officials. These are coaches who are appointed or nominated by the federation. So all of these, you make sure that you work well, you make sure there's a good relationship amongst all of these team members of Uganda in this case. Okay,
I hand you over to my colleague Ronnie Santos, who's going to put a few questions to you, but in regards to the Olympics, I'm certain, and of course we can talk about the world under 20 as well, and and the Paralympics that are going on, because the success we've gotten this morning came from Uganda Athletics Federation still. David Emong winning us a bronze medal in the T46, 1.5 meters. 1,500, yeah, 1,500 meters this morning, I think 4:30 a.m. is when we got that medal. Santos, Madam Beatrice is there for you.
Madam Beatrice, mine is not actually technical, but a little bit administrative. I've been asked about this for several times. Because they always say when the national team or when the Athletics Federation is actually going to participate, sometimes you find the administrators, sometimes they are actually better. For instance, more numbers than the athletics, or rather the athletes. Can you highlight us on how that comes in? Because many people don't know more about it, and I may not explain it because I also don't know. But probably you have got the right answer.
Yes, the numbers, the issue of numbers, people continue to ask when they see numbers. And for Ugandan, I think the Ugandan population need to understand the way the number, the percentage, let me say the ratio of athletes to officials. In our case, is actually very, very low. Yeah. We had in the games, there were teams where you have three athletes and there are 15 officials, and I believe the people in the citizens of those countries.
Let me give an example. I think China, one of the two had 711 as the entire contingent, but only 411 were the athletes.
Yeah. So how the numbers come about is dependent on the sports. What we call it is a team size calculator. It's a system, I can say a tool, which is created by the International Olympic Committee to determine the number of officials, the ratio of officials to athletes. And this is based on the various sports. For example, we had 35 sports in the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. Some of the sports are team sports, others are individual sports. There were some sports that had, for example, equestrian. Equestrian has the athlete, it has the animal as part of it. That one comes with the package. Now for our case, for our events which we took athletes in, when you enter the tool, the number of athletes, it also has gender, the sex, male and female. So when you enter in the number, it brings automatically the number of officials that can be, it determines the number of officials that can accompany the athlete. Now you have the athletes qualified, men and women, men and female. It gives you a number of officials, and within those numbers, you must also have what we call the general officials. The general officers includes the chef de mission, it includes the general team manager, the team doctor. These are shared officials. Yeah, leader of the delegation. These are shared officials. There are 4 categories of officials that should go for the games. The officials one is the chef de mission. What can they call the general team office, which is headed by chef de mission. We have the technical officials. These are the coaches, the coaches of the various sports. And this is also determined, the number is determined by the team size calculator of how your athletes have qualified. Yeah. For athletics, if you have qualified 19 athletes, and it is one sex, say all males, it gives you a number which is small. As soon as you enter a woman, it gives you additional. That's how the numbers are generated. And then within that, we also have the team Uganda includes the general team officer, as I said. It includes these other people, include the chef de mission. We have the government dignitaries. Yes. These are determined, they also have a different category. And they normally travel with their accompanying guests. But for this particular Tokyo, those ones were cancelled. Yeah. Then we have people who, whether their games or not, have to be there. The president and the secretary general of Olympic Committee, they have to travel. These are another category of people. Then we have what called National Olympic Committee guests. These are guests we can share. This also the number is determined. For our case, there were 2, and for the 2, they are called transferables. You can transfer them. You can go up to 6, meaning that they have a short period, 1 week. Another one comes in, so you can also transfer them. These are the guests.
Tell Santos and Ugandans that the transferables for this one were Dunstan Musuga and Sadiq Nasiru.
These were transferable. So you cannot have the 2. You cannot have the 2 at the same time. One has to go, the other one replaces. Yeah. So those are what we call the transferable. Also for the guests of government, like members from the National Council of Sport, they also had the transferable. They're able to go. And
there was Katende first, then Zubairi later.
Katenda and Zubairi were not in Olympic Games. The matches that generally the members,
Okay.
they supported us. They were administrators in the pre-games training camps. Katende went to Izimisano with the first advanced team that went, and he didn't enter Tokyo.
Yeah, he did.
The same also applied to Zubairi, who went to Tatashina, because we needed administrators in these camps to help us. Yeah, so that's how the team is formed. There, of course, what did not happen this time around was the people who spectators, the open invitation. These games, people are allowed to go and watch games at your own cost. This time, this was not able. It did not happen. Otherwise, under normal circumstances, we'll have had so many Ugandans going out there. Even before the games were postponed, we had Ugandans who had purchased tickets. They were ready to go and watch the games. But they didn't. They didn't go because of that. They stopped. We could not have. They cancelled the foreign spectators.
Yeah, maybe a Burns to Madame Beatrice. I'm not underrating other federations, but I strongly believe Athletics Federation is one of the federations that has really, in my opinion, done the best and made us proud. I want to thank you for that and your entire team. Would like to know, like how are these athletics scouted? How are they, selected? Because I'm a football agent. In our side, we do sport, we do watch games, and via Coca-Cola, Uganda Premier League. How is it in athletics? And any person in Ntungamo would want to know, because you hear Cheptegei, you hear they're in Soloti, you hear he's in Kapchorwa, someone in Kavale, someone in Ntungamo where I am born in Lwashamire. How easily can it be for him or her? And what can he do? Or what are the criteria, or the criteria do you follow to have to make a team for Uganda?
The selection, let me call it talent identification for every sport. There must be a structure. There must be a structure. There must be deliberately planned by the federation. There must be systems where an individual, a young person, would like to participate. Now, for athletics, we have the school system. Yeah. We have the schools. Athletics is one of the sports that is in every school. Yes. That's an advantage. That's the advantage for our sport. And of course, we also organize, alongside the school system, we organize as a federation competitions. Our first event in a year, which we use for talent identification, is the cross country. The cross country brings most athletes, running athletes, from the 400 meters, I can say, up to marathon. Now, that is where most of our athletes are spotted. Through this cross country, clubs are able to identify these athletes. Schools are able to identify these athletes. The federation is able to build on this. Now, when we select these athletes, our events are linked to international competitions. You can identify a talent, you have to develop that talent. You have to give a chance for the athlete, the talent to be exposed, because you need to know how good your talent is. So for that, so we link up our talent identification program with the development through the coaches or the clubs or the training camps, and then make sure these talents are exposed. That's one of the key things. That way, if you look at the athletes who went to the Olympic Games, they are not from nowhere. These are athletes who have participated in international competitions. To go to a competition like the Olympic Games, you cannot come from zero. You must have moved either at the Eastern Africa level or continental level or world level. Most of our athletes had been out there. The Joshuas, the Halimas, these are champions. In 2019, they were champions. So that's how we're able to get so many athletes to these games. Also, don't forget, athletics is the only sport since 1956 that has never missed representation in Olympic Games. Yeah. The first Olympic Games in 1956, we had only athletics. There were 2 athletes from track and field. And since then, except 1976, we've been participating in all of this. While other sports, some of them have been there once, and then they've never repeated. So we've been there. So for us, we have a system which starts right from our national competitions. These go through to the regional. We make sure athletes compete in regional tournaments, in regional competitions. In Africa continental, we don't miss these events. We don't miss all these events that expose our athletes to the system, what we call a management system. In sports, in athletics, they're called, Global Sports is the club that manages Joshua, Alema, and the rest. These people pick Perus, they are all in the same club management. They are picked from our competitions. Once you provide them opportunity to run, people identify them, and they're able to grow them, because growing means that's business for them. So they continue to go to these invitational events in Europe. Even if the federation now does not directly pay them, they already have a system which is linked to all these major games. Their participation in the World Championship is key, because that's an earning event. When you go to World Championships, you want to go to Olympic Games, the best in the world. So that's how it is linked. You cannot have it from zero. You must grow through. And that's why even when we look at the next games, we don't need to wait up to 2023. We need to start now. Federations need to start now. We have had only 10 federations in this country participating in Olympic Games. 10 out of how many? 51. Okay, the members of the Olympic sports are 28. So out of the 28, only 10 of them have been in Olympic Games. What happened to the rest? So we need to work with them to make sure that we're able to get those that have been there once and they have dropped off, because we have many that were there. They disappeared. Where are they? They have to come back. And this has to start now.
Okay, Madam Beatrice, many Ugandans out there, as in your capacity as Chief de Mission, want to hear. I've personally talked about it 1,000 times whenever I've come on TV since it happened, the Sekito Leko situation. With examples, relevant examples, explain to Ugandans how Sekito Leko arrived in Japan. Because even Parliament is summoning the minister to explain how they, to them, members of Parliament think there was some element of human trafficking, which I sat on this TV and told Ugandans that Sekito Leko personally was there for justifiable reasons. Now from you, the Chief de Mission, maybe they will learn and will not question anymore. Please, just that small thing.
Thank you. Yes, I've heard about all those statements being made by people. I think some of them are very unfortunate. I think we need to understand how sports operates, the structure, the structure of sports, how it operates. Coming to Julius' case, we had 4 sports. 5 sports which were in the run. 5 sports which were in the run to qualify athletes to Olympic Games. 4 of them had qualified athletes. We had 2 extra sports, that is skating and weightlifting, that had an opportunity to present athletes. Why? Because the events for qualifier, events for ranking of the athletes were postponed, cancelled. So they were in balance. Now, for the weightlifting had 3 athletes who are very in good ranking. Julius was the best ranked, who had an opportunity to be called. So the ranking, just like in athletics, we had 4 other athletes who also on the ranking. We had 19 plus some 4 of them. Now those 4 of them, one of them was Shida. The ranking means this week you are within the qualified athletes. Somebody somewhere goes to a competition where you are not, participates, his points go up, he overtakes you, you are down. You understand? You are down. So that was the situation with Julius. By the time the first team went for the pre-games training, Sekito Leko was within the qualified athletes, within the qualified ranked athletes for weightlifting. Of course, we had another challenge of the host city gave us the COVID protocol, that if you send athletes, you send a team for pre-games training, let there be 1 contingent, meaning 1 delegation. You cannot bring 1 group and bring another group. And yet here, we wanted to provide opportunities for our athletes to train before the games where they have better facilities. So in that category, we had sports other than athletics that needed to go to Izimisano. Weightlifting, we had weightlifting,
swimming and
boxing, and we also had the Paralympic team. We wanted these ones the 4 to go to Izimisano to train under good facilities. Now, when they communicated to us this, we found that it was very difficult to keep the Paralympic team after the other group had gone to, the Olympic team had gone to Tokyo, to keep them in Izimisano. So for that reason, we removed the Paralympic team. That will mean that when the other group is leaving from Izimisano to Tokyo, everyone needed to go, which was not possible. It wasn't possible because the games were not open for the Paralympic team. So we left the team. Now the other remaining Boxing, weightlifting, and swimming, we took them. Now, we expected possibly by 7th of July, which was late, because initially it was supposed to be by end of April. Because of the postponement and cancellation, this was extended up to 7th of July. By the time they informed us about the status of the weightlifter in qualification, Julius was not on the list. So he was pushed off and say bounced off by other weightlifters from other countries. Because of the rankings. Oh. He didn't have a chance to again go. So that's how he was pushed off the qualification list. And it's not the first time. Yes. In 2000, we took 5 athletes to a training camp, pre-games training camp, yes, in Australia. And those athletes did not qualify. The other athletes were going to the games village. These 5 athletes returned. Were returning to Uganda. And one of them was Dorcas Njikuru. But she benefited from that training in Adelaide. Okay. It helped her. Martes did not go to Olympic Games. She went and benefited from the pre-games training camp, and we can say it could have been an inspiration for her to what happened thereafter. From March 2000 until 2005. So I think taking Julius to Zimisano was not a mistake. In a sports perspective, looking at the facilities around in this country, it was the best that we could do for him. Even if he didn't make it to the Olympic Games, we believe that training and that facility could have helped him for future games. Yeah,
Madam Beatrice, you'll excuse us for the scattered way this discussion has gone for the past 30 minutes, but we're about to come to an end of view on the show. We shall continue with Santos with our Score Extra.
Maybe a simple one, Burns. Some Ugandans, or me, inclusive, would want to know what is next for Julius Sechiroleko. Is he out of the race completely, or there is a chance for him? Thank you very much.
In which race?
I mean, is he going to be part of is he going to compete for Uganda? Because the last information I had from, I think, the commissioner was like, Sechiroleko will not perform anymore for Uganda. I don't know.
That's a decision for the federation. I think he has a federation, that's Uganda Weightlifting Federation.
Yeah, and also at the return of the team, when the president was receiving the team at Kololo, Honorable Hamson Obua clearly stated that they will look at that disciplinary code to guide on Sechiroleko. But personally, I think Sechiroleko has got to continue with his sport because it will be a big injustice to him. Madam Beatrice, please, your final remarks, because we are about to come to an end of view.
Yes, I just want to thank Ugandans for the support they've given to Team Uganda. This was our best performance since 1956, and always you cannot have 100% right. There could be some few challenges, and these challenges strengthen us and make us prepare better for the next games. Of course, we have 2 games which are following each other. We have the Commonwealth Games, which is next year. The preparation is on. This also helps our athletes to prepare for the 2024 Olympic Games. We can only promise Ugandans better performance. Once you've entered to the stage of getting medals, it's a lot of pressure on us, a lot of pressure on Chef Demisho, a lot of pressure for whoever is going to be there, and we can promise Ugandans that we'll try our best with the National Federation to ensure that our teams are prepared early enough, that our federations are able to start to think about being at Olympic Games, because it's a dream of every Ugandan youth to be an Olympian. Yeah. So that's really my message, that every federation should not wait. All the 28 federations should not wait now. They should be able to start to prepare for the next Olympic Games, that's 2024. We already know the program. We know which events are on, which sports are on. So it's upon us as the federations, with the support of Ugandans. Of course, we had a lot of support from the government. This time around, government helped us. I really want to thank government for the assistance, the support towards the team, right from the preparation till the participation of the games, with the other assistance from the International or Olympic Solidarity, or with our other partners, the NOC and all that. But we also want the private sector to come in, because national federations are struggling. Okay. They are struggling to prepare our athletes to qualify. Some of them don't need much. They need very little money, and we need partners to be with us. In some countries, most of this support comes from the partners. We have so many partners here who are happy to see us come back with good results. we want them to work with us from the beginning, not at the end of it.
Okay, my producer will allow me just one more question. I think you'll answer in about a minute, Madam Beatrice. Considering that we got 4 medals at the Olympics, the past Olympics, to increase our haul to about 11 medals, because prior to this 2020, we had gotten 7 gold medals from the Olympics, 2 of which were gold, all of them, of course, from athletics. Now, is there possibility that the Olympic Solidarity and ANOCA and everyone else that gives you grants and scholarships is going to increase the number so that we've got a big pool that can access those funds? And if possible, can you tell me the funds, how much money does, say, Joshua get per month?
Now, the Solidarity grants are fixed. It's $1,000 per month.
Okay.
And this is a fixed number of athletes. You choose either to have 8, 6, 5 or 4. When you choose more, you get less. There's a limit, there's a ceiling for it. So we will not expect so much. It will be the same, But we want to get now from us, the Ugandans, we need support more. We don't want to remain with the 4 sports in Paris. We want to go beyond that. We want to go beyond 4 sports. We want to bring on board sports that have been there in Olympic Games and they have disappeared. You understand? We had table tennis, we had hockey, we had cycling, we had badminton. These sports have been in Olympic Games before. Archery, they were there before. They have all disappeared. They have not been participating in the last three Olympic Games. So we want these sports to come back. They know how to qualify. Okay. We want our people out there to help them so the athletes can qualify. The more athletes you have, the better. To reduce the pressure on athletics. Because I'm saying this now coming from athletics, there's a lot of pressure on our athletes. When they go there, everyone wants the team to come back with the medals. Where the medals coming from? From athletics. There's a lot of pressure on these athletes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Madam Beatrice, for sparing time for us. Please do so again when we call upon you, because we've not really exhausted everything, just because time is the biggest limit on any media house. But we thank you for coming down here. We thank you for being a golden chief de mission. Hopefully 2024 comes with better when Uganda travels to Paris for those games. I remind Ugandans, we've got 11 medals now from the Olympics. We went to these ones with 7. We came back with 4, and that is 11 gold medals, of which 4 are gold, all of them from the Athletics Federation, from which Madam Beatrice Aikoro comes from. Let's go for a break. When we get back, I'll remain with my Santos, and Santos, dressed in that Manchester United kit, is going to tell you about Cristiano Ronaldo. I'll have to get something, I don't know, I'll try any means to stop him from talking much about Cristiano Ronaldo, because he didn't sleep. He partied all night at his home because the bars are closed.
Experience 100% 4G speeds across Uganda with the Airtel 4G Pocket Wi-Fi, available at 123,000 shillings only. It comes with 15 GB free for 1 month. Visit the nearest Airtel shop, device selling shop, or Airtel online shop. www.airtel.co.ug/broadband-discover. Airtel, the smartphone network.
5 for 5, 5 times the winning, yeah. 5 times the happiness, yeah. 5 times the luckiness, yeah. 5 for 5, oh yeah. It's 5 for 5. 5 for 5, 5 times the money, yeah. 5 times the shopping, yeah. 5 times the prizes, yeah. 5 for 5, oh yeah. It's 5 for 5. 5 for 5.
Win 100,000 Uganda shillings weekly in the 5 for 5 jackpot. Simply download the Sente mobile app. Click Sente on the go to open your account online. Transact 5 times or more using Sente mobile, Sente Visa, and Sente agent to stand a chance to win. The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. So, participate in the 5 for 5 jackpot and win millions in daily and weekly prizes. The 5 for 5 jackpot is brought to you by Centenary Bank. Our bank, Centenary Bank is regulated by the Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund.
Patriotism is a feeling of love, devotion, and the willingness to sacrifice for one's country.
I say no to corruption because I put my country first. I choose peace over violence because I put my country first.
I love Uganda. I serve Uganda. I sacrifice for Uganda. I'm loyal to Uganda. I love myself.
Be patriotic. Uganda first. This message is brought to you by the National Secretariat for Patriotism Co-Uganda, Office of the President.
Echa COVID-19 kijja kugwa only if we stay at home, observe physical distancing, wear masks properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly, or get vaccinated now.
Well, welcome back from that break. My name is John Ban Sentamu. You're watching the Score Extra on Uganda Broadcasting Corporation TV. It's a new program, really, and we come to you over the weekend to give you a little about a big-time sport in Uganda, and of course, we shall go international like we are about to. But before we go international, if my producer can get me the clip of the Villa Electoral Commission chairperson, Mr. Robert Kigundu, yes, Robert Kigundu, announcing a stop of elections for Sports Club Villa. Villa trustees were yesterday evening served with a court order putting an injunction on the elections, and the elections they have happened, of course, but they are not legit, according to a certain Nambalirwa Brenda Kauma. If you've been around your sport in Uganda and you know your sport, and especially Sports Club Villa, you ought to know that okay, that is the clip. Let's first listen in and get to hear from what the Electoral Commission chairperson of Sports Club Villa actually had to say about the elections.
You may have heard this morning that there was a court order stopping elections. Personally, I hadn't been served with that court order or any letter instructing me to stop elections. About 5 minutes ago, one of the trustees of Sports Club Villa, Haj Omar Mandela, has brought a letter from the registered trustees of Villa Members Trust asking me or directing me to stop elections immediately, and I'll read it verbatim. The registered trustees of Villa Members Trust, the chairman, Villa Electoral Committee, attention Mr. Robert Kigundu. Dear sir, interim order stopping elections. We have been served with a court order stopping the elections. We hereby direct you to stop the elections forthwith. The trustees will be communicating a way forward in due course. Yours faithfully, Chairman, Trustees, Sports Club Villa. Copy, President Fufa. Copy, Interim Chairman, SC Villa. That letter is very clear that I should stop the elections, and as the Chairman of the Electoral Committee, I obey the order from the trustees, and have immediately stopped the elections on site, because I have the authority to do that and I can do it. Therefore, the gates to Speak Hotel have been closed, and I request whoever was proceeding to Speak Hotel not to bother, don't come to Speak Hotel. However, I need to clarify that voting online had already been designed to close at 5 p.m. today. It may not be easy for me to stop online voting immediately now. It might take some time, as we work out with our IT team how to change the voting online. So it is possible that people who are still there are still voting, but please note, we have been given an order by the trustees of Villa Members Trust to stop voting immediately.
Well, that is what we can't add much in regards to what the Villa Electoral Committee Chairperson, Mr. Robert Chigundu has said. The elections have been stopped, and the trustees, the 7 trustees of Sports Club Villa, if I recall the names, there is Franco Mugabe, there is Dusman Oki, there is William Munkemba, there is Omar Mandela. The man you saw in that picture walking out in a brownish t-shirt is that who's, because Nambalirwa Brenda Kauma did not serve the Villa Electoral Committee. Nambalirwa served the trustees, the 7 trustees. I'm trying to remember names. And of course there is Gerard Sendaulo. Sendaulo, the former Minister for Finance, is also part of the 7. And who else? The 7. The name skips. The 2 names skip of to complete the 7. But those are the guys that were served. That is Mandela there. Mandela is the one who brought the letter to
Hold on. Mandela of the City Oil.
Yes, of course. Mandela of City Oil is the one who brought that that letter, the letter to that gentleman. The trustees, the 7 trustees are here: Franco Mugabe, Dusman Kabega, William Munkemba, Gerard Sendaula, Umar Mandela, and Moses Matovu, the one of Africa. Those are the 7 guys they served. Now they had to communicate with the Electoral Commission. They didn't do that yesterday evening. Yet this letter was out. The court order was out yesterday. Now they come in the morning, come around at 10, and Mandela delivers, 11 by the way, delivers that letter, and elections had to be stopped. A couple of guys had voted either physically down at Speak Hotel in Kampala, just below Sheraton, and many had done so starting yesterday online, because they had 2 modes of getting the ballots cast, either through online or coming physically down to Speak Hotel and cast that ballot. We shall give you the details as they come in, but I'm told a couple of Villa fans have converged at Villa Park, where Segona, one of the guys who was contesting for presidency alongside Mbide Sebugwao, Segona came down to Villa Park and assured his fans that they should not be worried. This is going to come to an end. Villa is going to get a new president, and he says it's going to be him, Santos. You're itching to speak. I see you under your mask. Please.
It's really funny, and it's bad that something that they planned for so long, when it almost happened, then something still came in, and it's very unfortunate that Villa up to now we don't know what is next.
Okay.
But anyway, it's a club, and I believe it is a family. They will solve the issues inside. And probably all we need is to see Villa, doing well, Villa being with a person who actually, who is ready to fight for them, and pushes them far away from where they are now.
That was the pictures on your screen, Ugandans, are those of Medard Segona launching his manifesto just a few days ago down at Katikati. But that is as much as we can talk about Sports Club Villa, because loads of other things happen. We shall be giving you the details. The fans blame this on Mbide, but we don't know who, because we do not know who is behind that Madam Nambalirwa Brenda Kauma. But Nambalirwa Brenda Kauma comes from the family of one of the founding members of Sports Club Villa called Guy Kauma. The Guy Kauma family is was rallying during this electoral period behind Mbide. I'm not saying I'm not insinuating anything, but I just wanted to give you a story to just sum it up for you of what is happening at Sports Club Villa. Santos, I've told you Ugandans when Madame Beatrice was here that we've got guys at the Paralympics, and of course our very own David Emong won a bronze medal in the T46 1,500 meters. Husna, the swimmer, Kukundakwe, finished 6th, but she set herself a personal best time. She competed on Thursday morning, and we've got Peace Oroma. She's coming up in 2 events, the T13 100 meters and the T13 400 meters. Then the final girl who will do the contest for Uganda will be the badminton player, para-badminton player Santos. You must be knowing, this girl has worked at UBC. She used to sell us pancakes, but now here she is competing for Uganda at the Paralympics. It gives me so much joy to see Rita Asimwe down there. We shan't talk about it. I'm not granting you a chance to speak about it. Let's talk briefly about the Cranes, Santos. How ready are they for Kenya?
Yeah, our national team, the first team is in Ethiopia as we talk, in Bahal Dial, getting prepared for the big game, the World Cup qualifier game against Kenya in Nyayo Stadium on 2nd, if I'm not mistaken, that is on Thursday next week. And of course, they have some good players. But surprisingly, this time around, the head coach, Mitchell, on his second return to the national team, he only summoned 5 professionals besides Abdul Mara, who've got actually who is out of contract at Pyramids. Then, of course, Emmanuel Okwi, who have got no club after parting ways with Itihad Alexandria. And of course, Yunus Sentam, who plays for Vipers. Okay, we will call him for a professional because you've got all that versatile experience to do that. But the 5 professionals, Kari Daucho coming back on the national team after the suspension, having misbehaved, of course. Tadeo Luanga, then Joseph Ochaya, the left back who plays at TP Mazembe. Tadeo Luanga plays for Simba. Kari Daucho has just joined Simba rivals, Young Africans. And the 2 players from South Africa, Moses Waiswa, who plays for SuperSport, and Ismail Watenga, the goalkeeper at Chippa United, who is actually having a good run, 2 games down in the South African Premier League, one of the best leagues in Africa actually, the top 5 leagues. It is among the top 5 leagues. He has played 2 and have got 2 clean sheets, so you expect more. However, in the country, we lacked, or we will miss, Patrick Kadu, whom they say is injured. Then Mchaba Mzamir is also injured. But the rest of the team is compromised. I mean, it is actually made of many Ugandan players who are playing in the Ugandan local league. Talk about players like Chuko Murushid, who came back at Express and won the league. Then talk about players like Enoch Walusimbi, who captained Express. Then we have the young blood, Aziz Kayondo, Richard Basangwa, Ibrahim Morita at Vipers, Abobos Biaruhanga. Well, it is, of course, a new team, considering the fact that some other good players did retire. Talk about Hassan Mawanda, talk about players like Mike Azira, Dennis Onyango. This is going to be a little bit new for us, especially missing around 5 players. We won't have Maweje this time round. This is going to be the first World Cup qualifier where we shall have no Tony Maweje, Hassan Waswa Mawanda, Juko Murush, Dennis Onyango, and actually Massa as well, because you have just seen Massa somewhere there, is now the team manager. So I believe this is a team, and with a new philosophy, because I happened to see what Mitchell was training, and of course his communication, he's not going to do what we all expect from him. Of course, when you mention Mitchell, we know he's too defensive, is that coach will pack the bus, but even from the lineup he's taking, I do not see packing that the way we used to have Mike Hassan Waswa, Kari Daucho, Tony Maweje play in the same squad. I don't see it happen, because we shall miss Alan Okero, yes. You would expect in this new crop of players, Alan Okero will do perfectly better. But I think we are going to go with another philosophy. And ahead of Kenya, who've got to know Johan Omoro, who've got to know Victor Wanyama was also not summoned, simply because he has not been playing at Central de Montreal or Montreal Impact in USA. You expect...
Santos.
Yes, sir.
Santos, in all due respect, the Cranes, let's leave them aside. Remind Ugandans that we're playing out of Group E. Group E has Uganda, we've got Mali, and Rwanda. We play Kenya first. Next Thursday we play Mali at home, St. Mary's Kitende, on Tuesday following, after the Thursday that I've talked about next week. Then we shall see how it progresses from then on. The top teams from every group will go into a final 10 teams qualifier, where 5 games will be played, and the winner over every game, home and away, will be in Qatar 2022. But as we go to Qatar, the basketball team is in Rwanda, and they got a victory over Cameroon yesterday, 80-66, to give them their second victory at any of the Afro basketballs we've ever been to. And that result really resurrected our chances in a Group D that that has Senegal already qualified, because Senegal walloped South Sudan. Santos.
Yeah, we've got to win South Sudan and qualify.
We play tomorrow
to the quarterfinals
at 7 p.m. No, not quarterfinals. What's happening at the Afro Basketball is the top teams from the 4 groups will go to the quarterfinal straight.
Yes.
Then the second and third from every group will play what is previously called a round of 16.
Okay.
But there are 8 teams in there. But it's built a round of 16 according to their tree. The tree has in breakdown up to the final. Now, the winners from those games will then join only 4. Because the 8 teams,
yes.
there are 4 groups in the tournament. Now, the top team from each group goes to the quarterfinal straight.
Yeah.
Senegal must be through, because I'm certain they'll beat Cameroon.
Senegal and Rwanda.
Senegal, they will go through to the quarterfinals.
Rwanda as well.
One of Uganda?
Rwanda.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those ones will go to the quarterfinal straight. Then second and third from every group will play each other according to the tree. And then the top teams, the 4 teams that will qualify then, will join the 4 that have topped the group to make the quarterfinals that will come a little later. That is the situation down there.
Yeah, but I think we've got a chance, because all we need to do is to simply beat South Sudan, and we will do the best. That is Ismail Wainwright doing his best. He performed very well against Cameroon.
Yeah, he scored 9 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists.
Great.
The best player for us was Dengeo. Dengeo scored 18 points. Of course, we had Arthur Kaluma. Arthur Kaluma and Dengao scored 14 and 12. Then Robinson Opong scored 15 points. It was a very, very good display of basketball down there in Rwanda, and hopefully those lads can go on tomorrow and beat up on South Sudan and earn us a place at the round of 16 to try and enter the quarterfinals. If we negotiate those 2 games tomorrow and the round of 16, it will be a very, very monumental showing by these lads, considering the circumstances in which they arrived down in Rwanda. a week to the games. They've had no pre-camp, they've had no friendly games at all. They lost to Senegal because of that, but I think they gave us some joy in that game against Cameroon. Now, Santos, Arsenal is losing to Man City. As it stands, I think it must be 4 goals to 0. Does it surprise you?
No, our cameraman Nasa is laughing at them. You know, Arsenal, I've always talked about them. They did not get ready. They did not prepare for this season. When they got money, they just wasted their money in buying academic graduates. I don't think they are going to have the best moment, especially in this season. I believe after this match, something strange is going to happen. After this match, I very much believe Arteta will be sacked. I don't know why I'm so certain, but if I was going to bet, I would bet on Arteta being sacked today or tomorrow. Before Monday, I think Arsenal will be looking for another new coach, because it doesn't look like it is going to end like at 4. It seems it is yielding more, and if it goes to 6 or 7, that would be bad for my friends who support Arsenal. My son is an Arsenal fan, so I would love not to see him sad, you know, when he's at home, especially under this COVID situation. But anyway, I believe there is a lot of things Arsenal have got to do, especially in recruitment. When you look at what they need and again you compare to what they get, honestly, it really shows. Or if you're simply in reality, it seems someone buying or shopping for Arsenal, planning for Arsenal, is not there and is not your friend. Okay, that can't be said of Manchester United, your team, whose jersey you donned today, Santos. Very cleanly dressed, Santos. Manchester United acquiring the services of Cristiano Ronaldo. He returned to a club he left several years ago. 12 years ago. What's your opinion about that signing of Cristiano Ronaldo? Yeah, of course, like any other Manchester United fan, I also believe this is not the Ronaldo we saw 5 years, 6 years back at Madrid, or the Ronaldo that joined Madrid, or when he left Man United. But any Manchester United fan, even if Ronaldo was coming to Manchester United as a decorator, as a decoration, it is better. Or, you know, in this case, Ronaldo was going to Man City. That would have been worse for all of us, especially who support and love this club. This club means a lot to us. I'm not talking as a Manchester United fan, but surely Ronaldo going to Manchester City, that would have been the worst story I've ever heard of. I mean, the worst moment I've ever seen. But he knew, and of course, the team management, I mean, his managers knew it would have been too bad for him to go to Man City, and Manchester City failed. They expected, or they had lots of, trust in Messi. Messi disappointed them. He went to PSG. Now they counted on Harry Kane. Unfortunately, they couldn't get Harry Kane. Then they had to bank in Grealish, and he's yielding. Actually, he's doing well. They are on. But this is not what they expected. They expected either Ronaldo or Harry Kane, and unfortunately, they are getting none of the two. So they have got to fight now. And Manchester United signing Ronaldo, he's a winner. I've always told my people that when you have Ronaldo or Messi, you have 50%. The other players will come and add on what you have. So with Ronaldo coming to Manchester United, do not get surprised if you see Manchester United doing better than they have been doing. We are talking about, I'm talking about winning the league as well, and of course the Champions League. His first game is on 14 September in Young Boys or in Switzerland. That is the Champions League. He won his first Ballon d'Or at Man United. He won his first professional league at Man United. He won his first UEFA Champions League at Man United. He won his best player of the year at Man United. So this is a club that have got records for him. So
is there anything bad you can speak about Manchester United and Cristiano Ronaldo? There is none. Tell Ugandans how you expect Chelsea and Liverpool to pan out this evening.
Yeah, this is a game of two coaches. The one is a master, the other one is a student. Jurgen Klopp is a master of Thomas Tuchel because he has been
Thomas Tuchel.
Thank you. Jurgen Klopp, when he was at Mainz, when he left to Dortmund, Mainz appointed Thomas Tuchel. Then when this man Jurgen Klopp left Dortmund to Liverpool, Dortmund appointed this man. It seems they have the same style. The philosophy is one. This is a game of counter-attacking. We are going to see many goals. However, I see a draw. I don't see Chelsea losing the game, and just like Liverpool cannot stand to lose at Anfield today. More also when the league has just started, they have seen the people or the clubs claiming to be the title contenders losing at Spurs, that is Man City, and Man United losing to Southampton, losing 2 points. So they are in the right position, Liverpool, to actually fight for this. Last season they were disturbed by the injuries. I just don't think they are going to let this go like that. More also when they're playing the arch rival currently, because it is Chelsea and Liverpool.
Santos, we have about 2 minutes to leave this, but I remind Ugandans, if you enjoy your music, if you enjoy your sport, don't miss Puntula Extra on Magic 100 FM this night, starting at 10 p.m. Our very own Nasa will be there mixing for you. Santos, the Champions League draw was held. There is a group that has Man United, Villarreal, Young Boys and Atalanta, but there's a group that has AC Milan, it has Liverpool,
Porto and
Atletico Madrid. But just in a minute, the Champions League draw.
Yeah, the Champions League draw is, I think the best one is for Man City, PSG.
Yeah.
We will go to see, because last season, Man City walloped PSG 4-1 in the goal aggregates in the semi-final to reach the final where they lost to Thomas Tuchel's team 1-0. Tuchel.
I think that is the perfect pronunciation
from Kai Havertz. I think these group stages we shall enjoy immediately from the group stages, because we have Benfica, Barcelona and Bayern Munich somewhere. We have Liverpool, Atletico Madrid. That is a big game. We have Dortmund and Ajax. That's a big game. There is that Rio group apart from
Inter
Milan, Real Madrid and Shakhtar. They were in the same group last season, and Real Madrid suffered to Shakhtar. So then there is also another
Chelsea,
group.
Juventus, Zenit and Malmo. That is Group H. Lille, Sevilla, Salzburg and Wolfsburg. There's Villarreal, United, Atlanta and Young Boys, Dynamo Kiev, Benfica, Barcelona, Bayern. I think at least every group has a couple of games that they're going to give us, and I'm certain if the top teams don't lose against each other,
they will still go, and we shall have them in the rest.
No, it's not guaranteed. If say they draw, if the top teams Bayern and PSG, Man City and PSG draw their games, both games of theirs, then they're going to have to beat these smaller teams. But these smaller teams are also not going to lean back and allowed to be beaten. Like, we are not going to stay a minute any further. Santos, your buys to Ugandans in 20 seconds.
Yeah, I want to thank you very much, our viewers. Thank you for loving UBC TV, and of course, we'll get back on Monday on the score.
But remind Ugandans, if only there is no international, national activity around the country. We can't promise you sport when the First Lady is speaking. We can't promise you sport when the President of the Republic is speaking. We can't promise you sport when the Parliament of Uganda is meeting to deliberate on key issues. From me, you, Santos, and the guys that have enabled this, especially our producer, Mr. Eddie Mwesi. Applause for him, Santos. Eddie Mwesi is doing a wonderful job for this. Everything you see about this show, a gentleman called Eddie Mwesi. If he moves out of the gate, you will not believe it's him. But tell you what, it's him. From us, it's bye-bye. See you again on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Don't forget Magic 100. Funtula Extra this night. The music will simply be amazing. Bye-bye.